Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanine. So we're going to get right to the business here. This is an article on U.Today. How's everybody doing out there? You doing okay? I hope you are. It's titled, XRP Can Start Altcoin Season. Here's how. It says, this week, XRP's perpetual futures open interest more than doubled as investors bet on a potential victory for Ripple in its lawsuit against the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Many market participants believe that a win for Ripple could signal the beginning of an altcoin season and significantly impact the cryptocurrency industry as a whole. I agree with that 100%. XRP is going to pull up quite a few bank coins with it. I think when XRP rises, you're going to see, let's see, XLM always rises with XRP. You're going to see Algorand go up, in my humble opinion. You're going to see Algorand go up. I think Quant will probably go up, and I'm going to throw Cello in there. I do. Every single time we enter a little bit of a bull run, Cello starts going up rapidly. People have a taste for Cello because it made a lot of money before. And I think it's going to make people a lot of money again. So I'm throwing those in there as initial explosive bank coins. I think the ones that'll take off first, right? All of them will take off, but I think those will take off first, right? So now let's read this next little tidbit here. It says a victory for Ripple would not only clear the cloud of uncertainty surrounding the company, but also set a precedent for future crypto-related legal battles. The case, we know when the case began. Let's see if there's anything else here. It is a currency, so they have maintained it's a currency and not a security. It is a currency. Anybody can build on XRPL. It's just sitting there. You can build on the XRPL, Stellar, Algorand. Anybody, anytime can utilize the system. So it's a matter of the people want to build on it or not. I think once there's regulatory clarity, you're going to see a feeding frenzy, the likes of which you've never seen. Why would you not? Their systems are better than all the other established systems. You think they're just going to let that sit there? That's illogical. In my humble opinions, that's just illogical. That's not going to happen. It says if Ripple emerges victorious in the lawsuit, it would be the first instance of a crypto-related company defeating one of the most feared regulators in the industry. This outcome could have far-reaching implications for the entire sector, as it would validate the legitimacy of digital assets and reinforce the argument that cryptocurrencies should not be treated as securities. They should not. I mean, I showed an article on this channel from Harvard Law. Matter of fact, we showed two articles. Two. People screenshotted that. They downloaded it, and it's easily found on Harvard Law's website, where they explained, these are some of the best lawyers on the planet, and they explained why crypto was not securities. Hey, if people don't want to listen to Harvard Law, what can I tell them, right? What can we tell them? Let's move on to this next article here. Oh man, feeling good today. All right, everybody. I hope you're feeling good. Feel strong. Conquer. We conquered the week. We're going to become better. We do a little bit of meditation. Some people take a rest on Saturday. Some people take a rest on Sunday, right? Regather our thoughts. We're going to do a little bit of reading. We're going to do a little bit of growth. Every day, our goal is to become better than what we were yesterday. Every day, we're going to become stronger. Every day, we're going to get a little bit more focused. I know what you're saying, Mick, I've plateaued. I've hit my plateau. I've hit my level. No, there's always a next level. We find a way. That's what we do best. We find a way to reach the next level. There's always a next level. And I'm going to tell you what, the times where you feel like there's not a next level, that's the time where you're right near that next level. It's right there. The mind, the body, they play these little tricks and they get tired. The mind might get tired. The body gets tired. And they start telling you, oh, no, we can't reach the next level. This is it. If you just push through, well, I don't know how to put this, but there's something special inside of us. Tap into that. It's something that's unexplainable, but tap into that, right? That willpower, that fire, tap into it. Use your willpower to push past that point of doubt. I mean, I can't tell you what to do. Do what you want. This is not advice. I'm just putting out my thoughts. But if you use your willpower to push yourself past those doubts, push yourself past those points, you're going to find another level. I'm telling you, there's always another level. So that is where we're going, to the next level. And whatever we're doing now, next article here is from zcrypto.com and it's titled, Legal Expert John Deaton Hints at Huge XRP Upside as Market Anticipates Ripple's Win in SEC Case. Yeah, and water is wet. We know. Mr. Dean, Mr. Dean, I think you're gonna have to put down your phone for a second, sir. We know you're preaching to the choir, right? Let's read this little tidbit though. Let's see what Mr. Deaton's talking about. Let's give him a little bit of respect here. It says predictions on what the future holds for Ripple in the long term have been making rounds within the Ripple community, while XRP supporters await a ruling from the judge. All it takes is for us to get a victory. Even if we don't get a victory, they move out of the country. They start going bananas with their partnerships. We already have, listen, how many times do I have to say this? We already have hundreds of banks. Do you understand when that capital starts flowing through on-demand liquidity? If they actually begin using on-demand liquidity at some point, what it's going to do to that price, right? This constant use of XRP, and then just the very nature of XRP becoming rare as it's in constant use. I mean, the partnerships that Ripple has brought in. You're talking about cross-border P2P. Then you're talking about interbank payments, all of these different things. We continue to talk about trillions. And then when we're talking about tokenization, more trillions. I mean, of course, there's an upside, you know. Well, let's read this little tidbit here. It says popular Ripple supporter and attorney John Deaton took to Twitter to state his expectations on what could happen if Ripple wins or loses against the SEC. According to the attorney, out of the many cryptocurrencies in the market, Ripple's XRP appears to have the most promising risk-reward ratio. I say it has a great one. I say Quant is right up there. I say XLM is right behind them. If everything's actuated, we're talking about it. Everything goes according to plan. I say Algorand is up there also. You know, and then right with them, that next tier, Hedera, XDC, LCX, Cello. As a matter of fact, I might have to put Cello a little closer to that group, as a matter of fact, because it's so explosive. But we will see. But yes, XRP is at the top right there. It's right there at the top, right there. All right, let's continue on. It says he noted that the judge's ruling is expected to take place in the coming week. Yeah, we know that also. Listen, I'm waiting until I hear it from the judge. All right, that's what I'm waiting on. That's it. Deaton speculated that Ripple, because so many articles every day, they're like, is days away. And I'm like, I was asking myself, like I've said this before, I'm like, days away. I know what the lawyers were saying. Oh, March or a couple months, the lawyers. I have not read anything from the judge, but people were telling me the judge said these things. So I don't know where that information is coming from, but today is the last day of March, right? So listen. For me, for the investor that I am, I'm an AHAB investor. I'm a long-term investor in XRP. Whenever it comes, it's okay by me. It's okay. And it's not, it looks like it's not going past this year. It looks like it may not go past the summer. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Let's continue on here. It says Deaton speculated that Ripple could proceed with an appeal if the case is not ruled in Ripple's favor. However, if Ripple wins and the asset is no longer classified as a security in the United States, it might create room for an upside for XRP. Yeah, there will be a massive explosion within weeks or months. Once we have that victory, it's just a matter of time. That's it. Tick tock, and that's the sands of time are running down on that. That's how I feel about that. So then it says here, just read this, just this little bit here. Once again, this article is on zcrypto.com. It says Deaton is a well-known, XRP proponent. We know that. Why do they keep iterating that? Let's read the quote. It says, quote, I have no doubt Ripple will win and the Supreme Court will shut down SEC Gov's gross overreach. The West Virginia EPA case is all you need to read to agree with me. Ripple's summary judgment brief is already an extremely well-written appellate brief, he tweeted. All right, so there you go. Once again, so we've heard that before, that if it goes to Supreme Court, then we will win. I agree with that. I mean, It's been looking good as far as cases similar to that in the Supreme Court. So that's why he's saying that. All right. So now we have this article from coinedition.com. It says here, Ripple CEO. Sorry about that. The title of this article is Ripple CEO calls out SEC Chair Gary Gensler over legislation comment. It says here, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse has voiced his disappointment with recent comments made by Gary Gensler, the chairman of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. Garlinghouse took to Twitter earlier today and called on lawmakers lawmakers, right? They're not going to do anything. They don't do anything. The people don't vote them out. They just sit there. They just sit there, and we watch them go from young to old, and they've done nothing but collect a check, literally. Anyway, let's read this article. It says, and called on lawmakers in the United States to take notice and address legislation for the crypto industry. We've been calling on them for like years. They've done nothing. We'll get to that a little bit later because we can do something. People can do something. Well, we've been trying to do something, but the rest of the people have not taken action. All right. It says, this is the tweet from Brad Garlinghouse. For the chair of the SEC to assert that he dictates what is a security. That is mind blowing. And not the legislation from which his agency derives its power is beyond comprehension. You see how insane things are getting? For an individual to say, I dictate what something is and not the law. It continues. It's time for elected officials in the U.S. to take notice. So Brad Garlinghouse's tweet was in response to comments made by Gensler after a House Appropriations Committee hearing earlier this week. The SEC chair told reporters that there was no need for additional laws for crypto and that existing securities laws were sufficient for crypto's regulation. According to Chair Gensler, any further legislation for crypto would undermine the existing securities, that's a lie, securities laws in terms of crypto regulation. There is no, it's like he's losing his mind. Maybe I'm wrong. Please tell me in the comment section. Is it just me? Maybe it's just me. It could be, but it just seems like nothing he says makes any logical sense as I'm trying to analyze these things. It just doesn't. Gensler reiterated that as far as crypto is concerned, the existing securities regulations address all matters that concern the governance of crypto. He gave a similar testimony to lawmakers during the hearing. Quote, for the chair of the SEC to assert that he dictates what is a security and not legislation from, okay, so then they just repeat Garlinghouse's tweet. It says the Ripple CEO likened Gary Gensler's conduct to that of an autocrat at the helm of a $2.2 billion bloated agency who has no regard for clarity. There hasn't been any clarity. All the pros have said the same thing. There's no clarity, none at all. And all the best lawyers have said that crypto should not be governed by existing securities laws. There's something new and they require new legislation. They require a new governing body to understand the technology and the way that it differs from everything else. What Gensler is doing, if he's not completely losing his mind, what Gensler is doing is just taking a lazy approach and saying, nope, we don't want to do any more work. We don't have to. We're going to muscle you and we're going to force you to go by laws and legalities that do not really apply to your new asset class. Now, to say otherwise, I think would be very arrogant. I mean, you can think what you want, but it's just my humble opinion. Others around the world are coming up with new governing bodies and new legislation for crypto apart from their existing securities laws. Are you saying that most of the other people in the world are wrong and yet the United States is correct? Hence one of the problems in the world today with the West, right? Now let's move on here. So now this article is has a little bit of XLM news. I saw 3 XLM articles today, but because they all said something very similar, I'm going to just cover this one XLM article here, but I'm happy to see that more and more websites, big websites, This is from newsbtc.com. Check them out, support them because they're supporting Stellar. More and more of them are starting to cover XLM. Appreciate that. So this article is titled, XLM, how it plans to navigate bearish market sentiment. It says here, despite the recent negative market trend, XLM, the governance token of Stellar blockchain, is defying the odds in crypto market. It says governance token. I prefer to hear native token. When I hear governance token, it makes me believe that you can participate in governance, like on Algorand, how you get to vote on certain things. That's a governance token. You hold it to act as a voter, right, on different things that happen on chain. I wouldn't call it a governance token. Is there something that I don't know that happened with XLM that makes it a governance token? I don't think you can vote on things that happen on chain. And well, let me continue on. Maybe they just chose to use that peculiar verbiage for just randomly. So according to CoinGecko, the token has experienced substantial gains in all time frames, with highest increase seen in the biweekly time frame at nearly 29%. This recent market rally can be attributed to on-chain developments that have propelled XLM to new heights. A lot of people are starting to see those connections, the United Nations connection, Stellar Aid Assist, the CBDCs and banking, full banking infrastructure in the Ukraine. I mean, it goes on and on. They're very close with the head of the CFTC, Caroline D. Pham. That's going to come in handy when there's regulatory clarity. Stellar can do what they want. They're going to go insane with partnerships, in my humble opinion, or they can. Let me say they can. I don't want to make it sound like it's a guarantee. They can go insane with partnerships once there's regulatory clarity, being that they're very close with the CFTC. Clearly, the CFTC considers XLM a commodity, which it is. I mean, it's so decentralized, it's unbelievable. No one controls it. So yeah, so people are starting to come into the knowledge of that. And listen, if you get one big player like how IBM at one time was saying they were going to use Stellar, I mean, they still have the page up and everything. So who knows what's going to happen with that. But if you get one big player saying, hey, we're going to use Stellar protocol at the core of our moving cross-border payments, anything like that gets announced in the future, boom, you're going to see a massive explosion. That's all it would really take. And there's a ton of businesses building on Stellar blockchain already. So people are starting to figure that out as well, right? It's just taking a little bit longer. Stellar doesn't get a lot of articles written about it. They don't get a lot of light. No matter what good happens, there's rarely articles written. Anyway, but that's why I believe that is going up. Not to mention XRP is going up. So Stellar always goes up with XRP, historically speaking. There is that. Don't discount that. That's major. So it says here, recently, the official Twitter accounts of Circle and Stellar announced that USDC, one of the largest stablecoins in the market, is now available on CoinMe wallet. Stellar links with Polkadot. This is adding to the bullish momentum. Stellar has now been connected to Polkadot through the Pendulum Power Chain, which is being touted as the final link between fiat and DeFi. USDC will also flow between Polkadot and Stellar, further advancing Stellar's position as a bridge between the traditional financial system and the crypto market. This position was already strengthened by its 2021 partnership with MoneyGram, a fiat cash transfer platform. Yeah, so then you throw in MoneyGram as well. And any of the banks that actually work with them, I remember reading from MoneyGram's website. I put the post in one of the videos, so somebody screenshotted that. They had like 3 or 4 clearinghouse banks that they were working with at the time. I don't know what it is now. We have to get an update. But yeah, I mean, look, things are looking good for Stellar. We have another article here. This one is in relation to Algorand. Algorand continues to make waves and do big things. So, you know, they have their real estate offering, Lofty AI, and this is in relation to that. This is on wired.com. So it's great advertisement, big website. A lot of people will read this, and it's titled, "Your Next Landlord Could Be 100 Random People." Startups are buying properties and wooing first-time real estate investors to buy shares. The model could have real repercussions for renters. Let's scroll down here. It says the 3-bedroom, 2-bath, split-level house in Fayetteville, Arkansas, looks like a perfect family home. It's got a charming brick exterior, a lush green front lawn, and a fenced-in backyard perfect for hosting cookouts. Okay, you're telling me all this? I don't want to buy the house. Tell me about how Lofty AI is involved. Okay, here it is. The property They were talking like they're trying to sell me the property. The property, which these days is known as the Soapstone, all right, is, quote, owned in a roundabout way by 102 investors who collectively purchased just over $100,000 in shares through a company called Arrived Homes. The property is managed and rented out for $1,600 a month, a bit below the city's average rent of $1,795. Investors who can buy in for as little as $100 get a cut of the profits. Interesting, very interesting. And it's not just the Soapstone, Arrived. Alongside a handful of other so-called fractional investment startups are adding yet more noise to an already crowded real estate market. Investors can buy into hundreds of similar properties on the company's website, where each listing has an Airbnb style profile that breaks down the neighborhood costs, number of beds, bathrooms, and return on investment. In addition to Arrive, there's Lofty AI, which uses a token model for people to buy in and lets them collect rent later that same day. Another company, ReAlpha, sells shares in homes that serve as Airbnbs. So you see where all of this is going. Everything, it looks like, is going to be fractionalized, tokenized, and sold in pieces. To be quite honest, it's a good thing for the bank coins like Algorand. A lot of capital is going to flow into Algorand because of this, or could flow into Algorand because of things like this. But as for the world, it's going to get complicated. Holy smokes. A little bit more Algorand news. We have this article here from CoinDesk.com, and it's titled, Argentinian Airline Issues Every Ticket as an NFT. Well, this is in correlation to TravelX, TravelX offering built on Algorand for plane tickets. So Argentinian low-cost airline Flybondi is integrating Web3 into its ticketing process by issuing e-tickets as non-fungible tokens. The new integration announced Thursday is called Ticket 3.0 and is an expansion of its existing relationship with NFT ticketing company TravelX. Okay, so I see. So interesting. So TravelX is expanding, which means that Algorand is expanding in a way. Very interesting. This is which launched in September 2022. The NFT ticketing technology built on the Algorand blockchain allows passengers to change their name, transfer, or sell their NFT tickets independently. Flybondi says the NFT ticket offers a more flexible travel experience that allows passengers to even buy in advance. We could just say to buy in advance, to even buy in advance without having to define their travel plans or who the travelers will be. So this is very interesting. Just another reason why capital will flow into Algorand. And it shows you the domination. They're dominating when it comes to real estate. They're dominating and getting in early when it comes to tokenizing airline tickets, the medical industry, the banking industry. I mean, what isn't Algorand dominating at? This is why I always say Algorand is the most balanced bank coin out there. No one's more balanced than they are. No one's dominating in more sectors than they are. Algorand continues to do a great job, and that's all due to their leadership. The leadership has the vision. If you're led by individuals like Stacey Wharton, you're going to win. They have a vision. Simple as that, right? Leaders like Stacey Wharton, Lehman Baird, Gilbert Verdian, Brad Garlinghouse, they're winners with a big vision. They see the short term, but also the long term, and they don't take, I don't want to say they don't take losses, but they learn from everything. They're very strategic. So I'm going to give you my top 3 albums from popular genres. So let's start with my favorite album, I believe #1 album from the pop punk. Yeah, that's right. I'm going there. From pop punk music genre. It's going to be a Blink-182 album. Trust me on this. It's going to be Blink-182. Yep. And I'm going to go with Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Yep. I'm going with Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. That was one of my favorite albums in when I was in high school doing wrestling. I would just put that on, and oh man, I was going through a lot of stuff at the time too. And that album will help you get through. Great, tremendous. I think that's their best album by far. So Take Off Your Pants and Jackets for the pop punk music genre. That's #1. We're talking hip hop, greatest album of all time. I'm gonna have to say it's a tie. I'm going to say this is my personal opinion. I'm going to say it's a tie between All Eyes on Me by Tupac, the esteemed Tupac Amaru Shakur. That's one. It's a tie between that and DMX's It's Dark and Hell is Hot. These two albums talk to a person's soul. Deep. So those two I nominate for the best in the hip hop genre. Okay, if we go with pop albums, that's easy. That's easy. Michael Jackson's, let's go with pop. That's easier. Michael Jackson's, what album was it when he had the Remember the Time on it? Do you even know that song? You guys know Remember Time? Do you remember how it all began? It just seemed like heaven, so I did it. And do you remember? I bet you remember. I bet you remember. Don't get me started. Whatever album that was, that's for me is the best pop album of all time. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about Thriller and Bad and all that. Unless it had Do You Remember the Time on it. Whatever that album was, that's my favorite Michael Jackson album of all time. The best pop album of all time. Simple as that, all right? Let's move on here. Okay, we're going to get back to the articles now. So, this article here is from cryptodaily.co.uk and it's titled De-dollarisation. Crypto was created for this. Let's scroll down here. So more and more big news websites are talking about de-dollarization. I'm happy that they are, so people can prepare if they see fit to prepare for what is to come. It says de-dollarization is happening. The over-financialization that has taken place in the West over the last few decades is coming home to roost. The Brics nations are already trading in the Chinese yuan. Applications to sign up to this block are multiplying rapidly. United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Algeria, Argentina, Mexico, miente, Nigeria. Listen, this is getting insane. People are not seeing what's happening here. Nigeria are reportedly looking to join this new global cooperation group, with Saudi Arabia already on the brink of being accepted, putting in jeopardy the long-standing agreement with the U.S. to exchange oil for dollars. It says, this is crypto's moment. Mike Novogratz, the billionaire entrepreneur and CEO of Galaxy Digital, made his comments during his company's Q4 2022 earnings call. He said that crypto prices are likely to go up over the coming months. At the same time, that de-dollarization is just getting started, he stated. Quote, let's start with the good. This is crypto's moment. Crypto was, in lots of ways, created for this point. It was. Hold on to your blazers, folks. Hold on. It says Satoshi Nakamoto, way back in 2009, worried about the breakdown of the legacy financial system. He worried about populism infecting our politics, and all of politics is corrupt and infested. Not because one thing inserted itself in it. All of it. Power breeds corruption, right? Says he worried about this and that. Okay. Says Novogratz continues with his viewpoint on how politics. Oh, wait, nope. We're not going to get into that there. Nope. That's redacted. Gold and Bitcoin, you got to be careful. YouTube has gotten even stricter. Holy smokes. Got to be careful. This is business, folks. Gold and Bitcoin will thrive. I can agree to that. Yes. The billionaire CEO says that macro hedge funds are paying close attention to the developments with banks and the situation with Russia, Ukraine, and the roles that the U.S. and China are playing. He believes that the financial and geopolitical environment is one in which sound money, such as gold and Bitcoin, will thrive. He commented. The only problem with Bitcoin is that a lot of people will be afraid to put their money in there because right now Bitcoin is a profit-taking mechanism. People put their money in and get it taken. They don't necessarily put their money into Bitcoin to use it to buy coffee, to use it to buy groceries. That hasn't taken off yet. I'm not saying that it can. It definitely can. But first, the stigma of Bitcoin going up and then going down and people losing money, that has to be removed. So, we will see how that works out in the future. But it's still, it definitely will benefit as the dollar falls, 100%. Let's move on here. So we have this article here on coinedition.com and it's titled, Japan to launch an expert panel to explore digital yen. Japan to launch an expert panel. Okay, let's scroll down here. What? I read the URL and then I read the title. My apologies. The Japanese Ministry of Finance is reportedly exploring the viability of a central bank digital currency and is planning to launch an expert panel next month for the same. Let's watch out for this. Let's see if anybody if we hear about any Ripple representatives, we'll probably have to dig deep to find out who's going to be on this expert panel or who's advising them. But we'll try. The expert panel will be tasked with gauging the feasibility of issuing a digital yen. According to a report by NHK, I cannot hear that word NHK without thinking about the classic anime, Welcome to the NHK. Don't watch that if you don't want to be sad. Tremendously written story. It definitely makes you feel for the characters. Holy smokes, it is a good one, folks. Even if you don't like anime, it's a story about people, right? It's not a cartoon for children at all. Anyway, it says, in addition to exploring the use cases of a digital yen, the expert panel will also work on a framework for CBDCs. The panel's research will be aided by the findings of a 2-year-long technical study carried out by the Bank of Japan, which is the country's central bank. Officials from the Bank of Japan told local media that, as of now, the central bank had no concrete plans to start issuing digital currencies. Yeah, and it makes it very suspicious. I said this in another video. They continue to talk about this. The last article we read was about stable coins. Now they're talking about CBDCs. Listen, a lot of powerful people out of Japan, like the head of SBI, said they believe that Japan was going to run on XRP. I'll just leave it at that. Let's keep our eyes open, folks. Things are happening. And I'm feeling good about it, too. Things are looking real good, in my humble opinion. Here's an article from Cointelegraph.com, and it's titled, Russia talks up prospects of Brics countries developing new currency. The world better get ready. The West, not the world, the West better get ready. I'm talking about the civilians on the ground. People are actually good and have nothing to do with the psychotic government, who's bringing a lot of bad down on the heads of the people. This happens all around the world, though, right? The people should prepare themselves if the dollar is diminished greatly at some point. Says a top Russian official has reportedly claimed that the countries of the Brics alliance, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, are working on creating their own currency. I'm not going to say that on here. No. Redacted could be emerging as economic powerhouses increase their efforts to distance themselves from U.S. dollar hegemony. According to reports, the top Russian official claimed that Brics, why do they always reiterate what they already said at the top? So State Duma Deputy Chairman Alexander Babakov made the comments at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum event in New Delhi, India, according to local reports. Babakov reportedly stressed the importance of both nations working towards a new medium for payments, adding that digital payments could be the most promising and viable. He also said the currency could benefit China and other Brics members and not the West. Quote, its composition should be based on inducting new monetary ties established to a strategy that does not defend the U.S. dollar or euro, but rather forms a new currency competent of benefiting our shared objectives. Let's stop there. The world is changing rapidly. We'll stay up to date on these things here. And yes, it is becoming a multipolar world. This is from Cointelegraph. I think it's very telling. It says, I'm not going to say that word. We're talking about use cases. And it says, Citi says trillions in assets could be tokenized by 2030. That's not that long away. Trillions. Who do you think is going to move most of those trillions? Citibank. Who do you believe the banks are going to trust as they're making the push for tokenization of everything? I would venture to say the bank coins. And what will it do to the price if we even get a modicum of trillions? It says investment bank Citi is betting on blockchain-based tokenization of real-world assets to become the next use case in crypto, with the firm forecasting the market to reach between $4 trillion to $5 trillion by 2030. That will mark an 80-fold increase. Remember, most of crypto is going to be eliminated. You see it happening right now. Who's going to be the last one standing to benefit from this? And of those last ones standing, who is going to be the most trusted amongst banks? Other than those who are already working with banks like Ripple, or I'm sorry about that, XRP, XLM, Quant, Algorand. They're already in bed with banks. They're already trusted. I'm going to leave that one there. Once again, that's from Cointelegraph.com. Let's end off with a little bit of gold news. All right, so this article is from FXEmpire.com and it's titled Gold, Silver, Platinum. Gold declines as dollar rebounds from weekly lows. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says gold failed to settle above the resistance at $1,980. Silver moved above the $24 level, and platinum tested resistance at $1,000. Gold failed to settle above the resistance. Okay, well, once again, another article where they reiterate what they said at the top. It says it was pulled back towards the $1,975 level. Treasury yields are moving lower, which is bullish for gold. However, traders are focused on the rebound of the US dollar, which serves as a bearish catalyst for gold markets that we know. Silver managed to climb above the $24 level and is trying to gain additional upside momentum. Traders should note that silver entered into the strong resistance area in the $24 to $24.50 range, while RSI moved into the overbought territory. The risk of a pullback are increasing, I expect it, but it'll go up again later on. There's all the catalysts are in play. There are catalysts coming. Let's see if they're actuated, and then it will go back up. It says, and silver markets will need material catalysts to maintain the current trend, and they're on the way. From what I've read, they're on the way. Platinum, my least favorite, but I'm starting to take an interest in platinum. Platinum made an attempt to settle above the $1,000 level as demand for precious metals remained strong. A successful test of the resistance at $1,000 will push platinum towards $1,030 level. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.